Clap. And here we are, another episode of the King-Abrams show. We've done it once again. Haven't we?
Yes, Sam, we have. How is it going, Sam? Good to see you.
Hey, it's good to see you too.
It's been a while.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. A pretty good week.
Yeah, we've had a decent year this year. The show is looking a little different. Dr. Brian King has not been available. So we're formatting in new directions here. We're evolving into something that's
right.
different than what we started with.
Well, I mean, life is about change and evolving. I'm trying to do that in my life right now. Do things differently than I have been to get different results.
Like your Pilates?
Like my Pilates, the body is, I'm hoping it's,
How's that going?
I mean, it's pretty good.
Still wearing the same size pants?
No, the pants, a lot of my pants don't fit. I put on a suit about a week and a half ago. I had to go to a friend's funeral.
Oh, no.
And it was a little tight. And my wife, of course, was quick to be like, oh, yeah, I told you gained weight or something. And I was like, no, it's my ass. My ass size has doubled in a month.
Oh,
so I'm doing a lot of butt flexes. I'm doing a lot of lunges, crunches. It's basically what all women do, but it really is a good workout for men.
You keep going, you're going to turn into a bad bitch.
I'm getting there. I mean, that's the part. You're like looking in the mirror and you're like, dude, my ass is fucking popping out. Like, what's going on here?
I'm jealous.
Truthfully, I get jealous of my ass. I can't believe that's mine in the mirror. And I'm just like, what must all these women think? It's such a weird thing.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I haven't noticed. Truthfully,
I don't know what to think about myself. Am I ahead of my time or am I just? I don't know.
When you leave, I gotta remember to look.
Oh yeah, my ass, please. Yeah, I'm sure. I have a flat ass. Like if I was a woman, I'd be in the flat ass crew, which is disappointing.
We'd be on the same team.
But I'm working on it. I'm working on making it a bubble.
Yeah.
So changes are good.
Yeah. So here we are, 2022.
And shout out to Big Daddy Kane.
Oh yeah.
Who featured our little clip and commented on, the show, which was.
Oh right, yes, he shared
the
one of our
father of hip hop almost.
Yeah, the legend, Big Daddy Kane. He did. He shared a clip from our show on his Instagram. That was very kind of him. And I think we had an excellent show last week. There were so many potential clips that I saw.
There were a lot of little nuggets in there.
Yeah, we were cutting up lots of nuggets.
We got pretty deep into that last episode.
Well, that's our plan again today.
It is.
And we might be even a little edgier.
We might even get deeper.
No pun intended. Jeez Louise. Well, for me last week was when you like hawked that loogie and like.
Did I hawk that loogie?
You were demonstrating how women should give oral.
Oh, okay, good. I thought you were saying that I was not self-aware. I was like,
oh no,
clearing my throat on air.
Very much on purpose.
Okay, good. Oh, that's right. I was saying how much I enjoy when a woman just spits on.
Right. Yeah.
If there's a guy out there who disagrees with me, speak now or forever hold your tongue.
Yeah.
If we do not, we decide on this day, spitting is good. There's just something so hot about it, man.
Yeah. Well, you kind of have to do it.
That's more of the younger crowd. Spitting, choking, and pulling hair. That's some new shit.
Is it?
Maybe it new? Not. That's true. It's been happening since
the beginning of time. I know that the spitting, I can comment on the spitting. You kind of have to do that if you're going to do a good job.
How do you feel about when a guy spits and applies it to you? I mean, I guess when she spits on me, I'm like,
it's more like we understand it's logistics, I think.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that grosses women out at all.
No, I think it's sort of neutral.
Once you're swapping. Once you're swapping spit.
I don't know, Sam. Send the spit on the vag. Let me think.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. If you're gonna lick it, you might as well spit on it.
It doesn't turn me off, but it doesn't necessarily turn me on.
Yeah, I don't think guys are not spitting on women. Women usually are spitting on a dude.
Okay, wait.
But I don't know a lot of guys that just spit on girls.
Actually, that's a good point. So let's back it up. Let's
Please
pull this baby back in.
Back
Hang on.
Back it up.
If he does what you said, which was to spit on his hand and then apply his hand now to my hither parts.
Hither, yeah, the hithers.
The hitherlands.
That's pretty. The hitherlands.
That's not so sexy.
Standard.
But if he spits on me, that might be actually kind of hot.
Okay,
it's a difference.
I was talking about something different.
Yeah.
For example, okay.
You understand?
I mean,
he
sometimes
goes,
you'll use
from this far back.
Use a little lube to come around and get her just a little bit to slide yourself in, and then once you're in, a little natural
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah. That's when you know shit's going good. I'll never forget. I was out late night at a breakfast spot, and we're out with comedians, and this one female comedian said she had mashed potatoes, and she starts mashing them with a fork, and she said, "This is when you know sex is good. It sounds like this." Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
when
buddy.
the shit starts talking, that's when you know the fucking dick is walking. You're doing your job.
The truth. Yeah. Yeah, sounds are also very
that will tell you that things are happening.
Arousing as well.
Because you really shouldn't need lubrication outside of your natural, unless you get real high and then you got like cotton mouth and then you got nothing.
Right. Yeah. Whatever you can produce with your body, I think, is sufficient.
That's
unless you're dehydrated.
Unless you're dehydrated.
And then then you just do what you're doing. You drink some water.
I'm ready to spit.
Warm it up in your mouth and then spit it on somebody.
Oh my God. Who can I spit on?
What are we doing here? Okay. Well, we know why we're here.
We do know why we're here.
We were having a conversation the other day, you and I. And I don't know how we came upon this topic.
Right. Well, we were kind of discussing how is it the money or the man?
Right.
Or is it the money or the woman? Either, I mean, probably more so the man. I mean, we're talking about
I think from the female.
A rich man presents security to a female.
Right.
So
I asked you, I said, what makes you think a woman, chooses a guy that's rich?
And I said security.
And I said, no.
Right.
And it's not the security. What I was saying was, it's not the security. You disagreed straight away. I explained it's not the security. It's not even the money or the access to the money. It's the qualities that he has,
right,
that allowed him to acquire that money. Right. He has.
You said his plan.
Yeah, and then his qualities as well. He will have had to have been a leader, some kind of pioneer, certainly motivated and inspired and having all these, you would think, great qualities. Doesn't mean he's a nice guy, doesn't mean he's going to click with you, but it's not the money that makes us wet.
The drive that right,
it's him that makes us wet.
And that's the point. The money doesn't make a woman wet. It's
right.
How did he get
he get it
is what makes
like who is he? What did he, how did he do that?
Now what if he just won the lottery? Can you?
That's different. First of all, he's probably going to lose that money in 5 to 8 years.
Sure, everybody knows.
Right. It's nothing about him winning the lottery is sexy. I know how he got it. He won the lottery.
Right. There's nothing hot. You got lucky. Whatever.
He could be a fucking anything. He could be a horrible person. So and living in LA,
I just feel like that's the culture of LA. Try to find a rich person to marry. Either
I don't know. Like here's the thing.
I mean, everybody wants to be taken care of.
Right. I've had some relationships with men that were rich, some that were famous, and both. And it's not something that I went out looking for. It just happened because I live here, and that so do they.
Right.
And I'm not, hard to look at.
I mean, not at all, Sam.
It just kind of happened that way. So, I mean, I know I'm not trying to say that there's no such thing as the gold digger. There's no such thing as women who really just
right
subscribe to that idea to just find a rich, 8-figure
I think
nigga.
as you get older, you're pushed into it. I mean, as we get older, a female, their biological clock starts ticking. You start feeling like you want to settle down and have a baby. So by 35, a lot of times, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it becomes more important what he does. And
you mean if
and the
women get
security.
older, then
Yes.
they feel like they have to find someone who's rich.
Exactly.
But what if
more
they,
so.
unless they're not independent? Is that what we're
Because
saying?
as you get older, the guy who rides the skateboard, that's hot when you're 25 and cool and he has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's 35 and still on that skateboard and talking about the plan, you start to get concerned. And I think, but it's hard.
Maybe
There's a lot of artists out here. I think we were talking about that earlier. The whole idea of the plan B, that Hollywood tries to discourage you from having a plan B, that if you're not just an actor, a stand-up full-time, you're not dedicating everything to the dream.
Yeah.
But that's not true. You're better off you have a cleaning business. I do production work, or else we wouldn't be able to support ourselves to be, because the dream doesn't really pay till like the very end of the story.
Right. I fell in love with a man more than once who had a plan and a dream, but moreover, he had the talent, the ability to fulfill those dreams. So I believed both of them did. I believed in them. Right. So to me, they were sexy. They weren't rich at all. But I think as women get older, just to, reply to your point, I think it is less about being desperate, sort of like feeling like we're running out of time, more so that it is the men that we meet are, if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, are going to already be successful, because if they're in our age group. And then also, if a man is, pushing 50 or over 50,
he's already,
not to say that he won't succeed, but his plan needs to be solid. His plan at that point will have had some history, and some building behind it.
Sure. That's the hard
part.
part.
So if you're in over 50 and you ain't got a pot to piss in and shit to show for it, then gross. Ew. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't no gold digger, but I ain't fucking with no broke nigga without a plan.
That part. Yeah.
Without a plan?
And I get that. There's nothing sexy about not having a drive to do something.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it seems that's kind of what keeps you going, is what's next.
Right.
And you can't have destination happiness. I always keep coming back. I watched Donnell's podcast, and he had a guest on, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he kept saying, if you can be happy when you're broke, then that's great.
I saw that too.
Then you can be happy when you have the money, or you should be able to handle that, because it's always that thing when your career is kind of in one of those slumps. It's hard as an artist not to get depressed.
Yeah,
and a little make yourself feel like you're always going to be there. It's never going to be better.
Because as a creative person, sometimes your plan changes. You shift, complete trajectory, and then you feel like you're having to reinvent yourself, and that can be discouraging.
It is. Well, it feels like you're always having to not reinvent yourself completely, but reinvent something,
the
new,
format
to have people kind of talk about you, or to finally break through this threshold where you can get consistent work.
And so if a woman is observing that in a man that she loves or has an interest in, that's sexy.
That is sexy. Drive is always sexy. I told you I've always had a plan. I always told my wife, okay, I'm gonna take you on the Tonight Show one day or something.
There it
when
is.
We first met. And of course, I haven't done that yet, but I've always had a plan. But I have to say, as you get older, you lose your child innocence of like, I'm going to do this. Nothing can stop me. I can't do this. Because you get torn down. You get rejected. To now, we're at the point where somebody says something to me and it's just like, it's like a finely waxed car where rain just fucking just beads off of it, because I've been insulted so many times and had people just critique you as a comedian or tell you that you have such a, as they call it, a thick skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, it's all relative. But yeah, if he's rich though,
right?
If he happens to be rich, that's a perk.
That is a huge perk.
It's a cool perk.
Because look, money in the bank is paramount. It doesn't. I've learned. I used to. This teacher.
Actual money, not
right.
Yeah.
I remember I was young and in school, and I was like, "Money doesn't make you happy." My mom told me, it's about love, and of course that was so cute. And the teacher's like, "Yeah, right." And she said that kind of thing.
Hilarious.
And the truth is, of course, I've met some of the poorest families are the happiest, the richest families, the most miserable.
Yeah.
But man, having your bills paid, and if you're kind of
one less thing to worry about,
like I could be really fucking happy all the time if I just
I get money depressed. I get money depressed. I tell
right. I mean, don't we all? It's
Jesus fuck.
Right.
Yeah, it's like instant depression.
You get money depression. Yeah. It's not seasonal.
Right.
I don't look at myself as somebody who suffers from depression.
Right.
But when I don't have money come in and I start to get depressed.
Yeah.
Right?
And as soon as the money comes in, like instant, it's like,
dude, the minute I look at my bank account,
instant
like,
healing. Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy as a fucking lark. That's how I know it's money depression.
It is. Yeah. I've never heard that term, but I think it is. It's more
I mean, I just
depression.
made that up, but yeah,
I like that. Well, print that fucking money.
It's true though. Yeah,
it is very true, and especially in what we do, we see a lot of people. You see, like Kevin Hart and Chris Rock stopped by the Comedy Store last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the juxtaposition between broke comedians who are hungry and then Kevin Hart, who's like buying like cars like I would Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
It's very hard to be that close to your dream and try to understand in your head why. What is it about you that you haven't been able to figure out how to get? And do you even really want all of that?
Or is it that it's so close that it is within reach? Because Kevin Hart is just like me.
Right.
He was a young comedian.
Hart,
yeah.
Like
you can literally hold him. No, he's just like 4, me. Right. I was there. So he did it. If he can do it, I can do it.
It is. And I think that's what LA does for you, Hollywood. It's inspiring in a sense. And like, I talked to Tiffany today. She's on set in a movie in New Orleans. So it's like, she's doing this. I've performed with her. You know what I mean? It's like I've played basketball with her. She's thrown me alley-oops and I've dunked. So, but how do you really get in the game in a sense? It's comedy is such a hard thing that isn't like sports, that where if you're as good as somebody else, that doesn't mean.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to make it.
You're going to be Kobe.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
You know, I think life altogether, not to be too philosophical, but.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, opportunities come. They come and they go.
Right.
And sometimes we see them and sometimes we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So the object of the game, right, is to look carefully, circumspectfully even, and try to grab as many as you can.
Yeah, you have to.
I'm
finding it even harder as I get older to find people that you can really trust in business.
That's true.
That is, to me, one of the most, and I keep using this word, frustrating.
Yeah.
That I deliver what I say I'm going to deliver. I'm not perfect, sure. But I just keep running into people who don't deliver the same level. They make promises, but in the end, you'll end up like, and not in a fight or anything, but a disagreement.
Sure.
And you realize as adults are so, just, I don't know, unpredictable.
Yeah, people are fucked up,
And they'll act as if it's all taken, I got all this on lock. I've got all this money. I'm rich. But then all of a sudden, you're broke. Like what? I don't know.
Did you ever see that movie? I think it was the first film that Robert De Niro directed. A Bronx Tale?
A Bronx Tale? Okay. I think that's the guy who was on Donnell's podcast who did the Bronx too.
Yeah, he was Chaz. Not gonna try and say his last
right.
name.
I don't want to butcher it.
Right.
Good.
And so there was a scene where our main character had loaned some kid $20, right? And so every time he'd see this kid would be like across the street, hey, I'll go, where's my money? And then the kid would go, and run off, and he was avoiding him. And so finally, I think it was Chaz's character, says the main character says to our main character, it costs you $20 to keep this dude out of your life. And it was the first time I heard that point. It was a very good point. And that, along with another series of
interesting, it costs you that money to keep
that dude out of your life, right?
Yep, because people will always. We were talking about that earlier. When people owe you money or whatnot, it's such a sticky situation. And adults, I'm just not somebody who can do something like that. Borrow
money and not pay it back.
And not pay you back right away.
Yeah.
Without you having to ask me a bunch of times. But again, like, that's a great way to look at it. You're paying that person too.
Yeah. I don't loan money anymore. Yeah. There was a time where I did, and then it always went, for the most part, went bad.
I mean, it does. Almost all bad. Every time you lend money to somebody, you're lending them. The nature of lending money means they're in trouble.
Yeah. Just give it to them. I just give it to them.
Yeah, you just have to.
If I can't afford to lose it.
Right, then fuck it. You're right. And my dad used to say that too, like when you would go on vacation, don't think about what you're spending. Just fucking go ahead and spend it and enjoy the vacation and worry about it when you get home, because you're gonna ruin your vacation. Be like, oh, how much is dinner? Those are
right. Yeah.
And that's a good point.
Yeah, even though it's hard not to. Try and be frugal.
Yeah, but you'll ruin the moment by worrying about how much money you're spending in Mexico when you're like, dude, we're in Mexico.
Speaking of Mexico,
I
hear the transsexual hooker market is pretty banging down there.
Why are you asking?
I'm trying to create
what a segue. Speaking of Mexico,
I've been listening.
The transsexual sex market is good. There's a lot of
the second topic on our show.
It is. We were talking about that.
I was listening for anything that could get me there.
Could get you there. I like that. I was gonna go there too, but I was just gonna break into it. But
I did it first.
We were talking earlier about transsexual porn.
Yeah.
And I was telling you that for me personally, it's not sexy at all. Like I love my transsexual friends. Shout out.
Yeah.
We were even talking earlier how a lot of straight men might actually really enjoy a relationship with a transsexual. Because it's a female in a sense, but has all the male traits. Like I have a friend now on Instagram. I'll try and shout them out. But they do amazing modeling and is a hobby as trains and has this whole little city they've made, and it's so amazing, and it's more of a male hobby.
Okay.
Trains and stuff. So, and I'm treading lightly on this, but it is interesting. The psyche of what a man wants in a relationship is usually another woman.
Well, I think
let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy football. Oh, and you're a female. So I can see where, I don't know.
I think the conversation started, just to give the people a little background. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We dove right in there head first.
We dove into it.
No pun intended. Yeah, it was intended. So we were talking about, one reason why, again, the she-male porn might be confusing for straight men is because fundamentally when they think about, separate from a sexual thing, when they think about relationships, they seem to want, men, they want a woman, with very little drama, who really doesn't complain and really doesn't, somebody that can relate to him and have sometimes these sort of masculine characteristics.
Which is a man.
Right. Yeah. And if there's a certain type of man like yourself who is just not even going to be tempted by the thing, but I got to tell you, and it started again, we were talking about this
There's
joke.
probably a lot of men out there who are.
Yeah. I go, listen, if I click on that she-male porn before noon, and I'm talking about my own experience.
Oh my God.
That's a wrap. That's all I'm doing all day. That shit is so addicting. Like it is amazing.
Saying for yourself personally.
Yeah. No.
Watching she-male porn.
It's amazing.
And you get stuck on it all day long.
And I'm not all the way turned on. I mean, it's arousing imagery, right?
What do you love so much? Is it a chick with a dick?
It's so fucking amazing. Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Can I say that?
Yeah, that's what look
chick
for.
With a dick,
right? Chicks with dicks. If that's what you're looking for, those are different names for them. But when they look really feminine, it's just like I'm mesmerized.
Like a lady boy, like in Thailand, you would.
Yeah, you can't tell some of those.
Some of those.
Yeah, some of them.
Beautiful people, you can't tell.
Yeah, but I think what's confusing is that they look so feminine, and it just looks, it looks just as sexual and sexy as regular straight porn.
I've seen transsexual,
but then there's the body part.
I've seen transsexual women who are beautiful. You would probably you wouldn't even know
until she pulled.
But for me personally, if we were to be intimate, and yes, you're beautiful. Top down, we're going, but then there's a penis.
Well, some guys are perfectly
fine
Jack
with it. In the box, it's like a dick.
Well,
yikes!
According to an article that I read, one thing about what men like about this arrangement is that with a biological woman, you can't really tell sometimes if she's aroused. Unless you sort of feel around down there, you can't tell if sometimes she might be faking her orgasm. However, a transsexual woman, you'll be able to tell if she's turned on.
Right. And that's a point.
Little taboo thing that, some curious men or men that aren't so curious apparently are just sort of getting caught up in this.
Yeah. And I think you hit on that point earlier where a male is able to recognize a male's orgasm. Like you were saying, so he can tell, like you just said.
Or if he's aroused, you can see visually.
He can see visually.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I just got a nut busted in my face. I mean, that's clear as freaking day. That you just made somebody get off.
Yeah, okay? That part.
You're like, yeah.
So as a taboo sort of secret thing, a lot of straight men.
Have you ever gotten busted in the eye, Sam? Like I felt so terrible where you see. That happens to a woman and her eyes like just sewn shut.
She's just not committing to the job.
Right. Don't bust a nut in some fake eyelashes, man. You will fuck a woman.
Break it off.
Break it off. Break it off. Break it off.
Blink it off. Baby.
Blink it off. Blink it off.
It was an interesting conversation, and I don't know. It's be careful, right? We have to be careful.
Do you go down a rabbit hole of masturbation, or you're just watching it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't watch that to get off.
You're just like
it's just mesmerizing.
And what happens in these porns you're speaking of?
Anything you can imagine happens.
Is it a female in there?
Transgender female with a biological male, masculine male.
Okay, so it's a masculine male, and it's a transgender female
who looks very feminine,
who doesn't have a sex change, who has some cock and balls.
Right. Okay. So the whole thing looks very straight until she takes her panties off. If she takes her panties off.
Surprise.
If she takes her panties off. So sometimes
why doesn't she take them off?
Because she's doing other stuff.
The panties on?
Because she's maybe doing oral or whatever.
And so it's a surprise.
Yes.
I
swear to God, I met this guy on Facebook.
Don't bring God into this.
Okay, sorry. This dude was disappointed because he thought that I was transsexual.
That is wrong.
And he was disappointed.
I don't mean to say wrong, but do you get offended by that at all? Or
no.
You have a little lipstick on the front of your teeth right here, Sam.
Thank you.
Look at that respect.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have perfect teeth, Sam.
This guy probably had, thank you. He had probably watched so much transgender female porn
that he was convinced you had a
he just was like let down. It turned out that I
so
had
he's
a vagina.
Like, oh. I was hoping you were
Yeah,
gonna
he
fuck
sent me a
me.
message that said, I didn't know you were transgender. And I went, ooh.
Wow.
What do you mean?
You could strap on.
He was
and just be
disappointed.
like, I can be
Nah, no thanks.
Okay. I don't want to get us in trouble at all.
I think we are already in trouble.
We are, okay. But I think it's good to have an honest, open conversation about.
Yeah.
And the thing about a lot of these topics, if you talk to the average trans male or female or whatnot, a lot of people are completely open to talk about you if your intentions are pure to learn.
Yeah, and you're not coming from an angle of judgment.
Exactly,
it's just curiosity.
Like, I met this person online, like I explained, and I went and I need to pull up his, and I keep saying his. That's where I'm very disrespectful. Which I don't know. Do I say they?
I think you say they there.
So don't do that.
There, like his or her. Instead of saying his or hers, you say theirs. Okay. I'm gonna pull up their Instagram.
I'm gonna try and pull up their Instagram. Let me see. It's not okay. Between the Evergreens, and let me tell you, and Between the Evergreens, I hope you don't mind me exposing you on our show.
You're not outing someone.
I'm using the wrong terminology.
Okay, I see.
He isn't. She. They. I'm being so disrespectful and not on purpose at all. They are beautiful. Like he was a good-looking guy, and now a beautiful female. So that's both. But let me just show you where I'm really into it.
Let me see that part.
The modeling stuff. I'm so into modeling where I'm.
What am I looking at? A Shell station?
A Shell station. They made this from scratch.
This is what they're doing. Miniature. It's a miniature.
It's a miniature, and it's just, I mean, remote control cars. Like this is all ideally beautiful. Okay.
Sure.
And this is a woman who actually has a lot of very similar hobbies to what I'm into, in a sense. So
maybe you guys would get along if you went out on a date.
Right, but see, that's where for me, it just sexually,
it's just nothing there.
Like, yeah, I could go hang out with they, and it's just between the two. Let me see if I can get the name. Blake. Thank you. Blake. She, her is the correct acronym.
Yeah.
So let me.
So kind of like me, and like if I have a gay friend who's like a best friend, I don't want to have sex with him at all.
Right, exactly. This would be Blake and I could have a completely platonic relationship, and it would be quite amazing because, to be quite honest, if I could go over there and just check out those
that's
fucking
pretty
trains,
cool. Look at that.
I mean, my kids would love to go see this stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
There's not. This is kind of a male, hobby training. So I think it's very interesting. And I always think too, people are just born who they are in their bodies. Someone
who they are
who is transsexual was born a female in a male body, or born a male.
Yeah, often they know a very young age.
Yeah,
they identify with the other sex.
Yeah, it's almost like a female spirit has just landed in the body of a male, and you never feel correct until you really live how you want to live. So I think it's great.
My neighbor had a son, and when her son was, I don't know, somewhere around 17 or 18, he began to transition, and he actually worked for me for a little while. But she told me a story about how when he was really little and learning how to read, 6 and 7 years old, you ask a kid, which one are you? It'd be like a boy or girl and like a dog and whoever on the page. And then, as a little girl, some little girls would point to the little girl. He always pointed to the little girl. Which one are you? I'm that one. That's how he identified.
So, I do think, while it's great we're all learning about this, it's all very necessary. I do wish a lot of this energy could be put into Black America and that understanding as well.
Yeah.
Of just as much empathy as we have to the LGBTQ community.
Sure.
That really the problems that the Black community has faced over and over. I mean, I was just reading Nipsey Hussle. They're finding out that the LAPD had a secret operation to destroy his company. That Marathon Clothing in that strip mall, they were harassing the landlord to kick them out. And it's like Black Wall Street. You see how the black community has consistently been torn down. When any little bit of progress is built up,
people don't even know what Black Wall Street was.
Squashes that because we don't want to let black people get too far ahead, because there's this white supremacist thought that then
it's literally
they'll
written
take it over and do to us what we did not.
It's literally written into the law. Like if you were to read the United States Constitution in its current form, you would be appalled. Like, read it all the way through.
Exactly.
Some of the verbiage is so goddamn racist. It's ridiculous that it's still in there.
Right. But I think it's important. Like, we're sitting here treading so lightly. I'm trying to say the right things here, which is important. We should all make an effort to do. But I'm sure somebody could still watch, like, oh, look what he says, Sam, you're so insensitive and this and that. But I'm like, be that upset when somebody black gets killed by the police, and like really try to do something more about it than just.
Well, I think people
like keep that energy.
Keep that same energy. There are a lot of different. I mean, this country's certainly broken in so many different areas, and I think that people respond to what they identify to. And so that's the world we live in, and I think that if people understand, can relate to what we're saying, and if there are those that can't, then I think that we've had an important conversation. I mean, I think that it's important for these dialogues to be had at any rate.
You have to start off at a place of ignorance, and then you learn, and you have to be able to learn. I mean, we've talked about that even with black-white relations.
We go
a lot of white people are terrified to come into a situation where they're the only white person and say something racist, or say something offensive. And it's like, no, this is what we're all.
I almost feel like we've all had practice at how to sort of tiptoe around this area that's white and black. Like, it's just been here,
and we just tiptoe
in our faces, right? Like, we kind of know how to get around it. But with the transgender community and the LGBTQ community, it almost feels like a new argument.
It is.
It's a new argument, and we're really not sure, which is like Squid Game. You're not sure which glass to step on, right? One will break, one won't.
You might offend someone, and I think that's the thing. I do believe, though, there is this sense now to over-identify, and I think just from having a teenage boy, it's very confusing.
Yeah, you said
it's
something
very
about
confusing, because am I straight? Am I gay? Am I bi? Am I non-binary? Am I lesbian?
I don't remember ever having to choose.
I mean, he has all these kids, right? And what happens? These young kids wanting to pick an identity, you're like, maybe I'm.
I don't remember a pressure of having to choose that kind of identity.
My son got shamed at school for not knowing. He's like, are you gay? Are you bi? And he was like, no, I don't know. And they're like, well, you suck, that, And so it's this opposite shaming of if you haven't identified yourself. And I think that's where it gets a little confusing for teenagers.
I think it's very confusing for people that can't relate to this issue. I'm not on the inside of this issue. No. Neither are you, but I feel like
unintended.
But I feel like I am, I think it's fair. And I think the transgender, LGBTQ community, I think has to, at some level,
abbreviate the abbreviation.
Jesus Christ, it's a lot to say.
The LGBT.
It's not their fault.
The
LGBT. The LGBT. Stop it. That is not okay.
We're done.
We're canceled. Oh my God.
You can't cancel something.
No, I mean, listen, let's just have honest conversations about it. I think, if you go in with, an open-minded position where you're really not, from an angle of malice, I think it's a fair conversation. If I'm not going, these gays are doing all kinds of weird stuff, man. Well, that's not where we're.
It's like there was that comedian Shane Gillis who was on SNL, and then they found his podcast where he's talking about Chinese people and Chinese food, and he's saying very derogatory things, how they hate the food. Those are, and everybody's like, I can't believe that canceled. And we're like, what? Well, because you're saying derogatory things about you're making negative comments. Like what we're talking about here, we're not saying, oh, trans. What the hell? We don't
we're
understand it, and
questions.
we don't approve of it. We're looking
right.
I'm trying to tread lightly to learn. You know,
right.
I'm really
right.
I was excited to have a new friend, you know, fan that was transsexual, because that helps me as a comedian.
Nice.
I'm a big guy who's always like, I've got a Mexican sister, I got a black sister. You know, I'm trying to use every race card there is, you know, because my sister was adopted. She's Mexican. So I'm like, I'm part Mexican, or actually she's El Salvadorian. So I'm part of, you know, but I think the more connections we have to different people, the more you can feel like family. Like Donnell says, like, he doesn't trust anybody who doesn't have someone gay in their family.
right.
I mean,
right. Like,
although I don't think I do have anybody gay in my family
that you just don't know yet. Maybe.
Know of,
yeah. We definitely have a lot of lots of gays, lots of
yeah, we don't say lots of gays. You're done. You're
lots
canceled.
You're done. We have lots of everything in our family.
Yeah, it's so funny how white men specifically, aren't they the only ones who seem to be hyper worried about being canceled? White conservative men and Steve Harvey. Like Steve Harvey's like, I can't do stand-up anymore.
I think everyone who really isn't close to the LGBT community, but even sympathizes or empathizes, I think that we are the ones who are just sort of confused about it. And
I mean, if you have gay friends and family, I think you're in the struggle, or
I think what I'm saying is, I think even Black people, like, everybody feels this sort of treading culture treading lightly.
And that's what's sad. I can see how Black people must feel.
It's like, really, let's just
why
go
are
for
we
it.
Treading lightly?
It's because Dave Chappelle basically got in trouble. Which was a surprise to everyone.
Right.
And it was like, ooh, wait.
And we've talked about it. It's the whole point of his special was that Black people are first in line for reparations, or the Native Americans, maybe, let's say. Right. For some type of compensation. And there's been continued aggression towards the Black culture to destroy any progress in the entire history
of our country,
of your country,
right?
Of our country, American history. And so the fact that it's just been this spit in the face, and president after president, even Joe Biden putting Harriet Tubman on a quarter, but somebody pointed out a slave master on the front of the quarter still, and then no reparations.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Asian, Japanese people got reparations during the internment camps. Jewish people even got reparations for, you know, during the Holocaust.
Yeah, America still has not figured out what to do with the Negro. That's what we're talking about here.
How to
that word Negro
clean up our biggest issue. It's like
that's right. That word,
they're little teeny things that we can clean up compared to 400 years of what has happened to, you know, the Black culture.
I'm Googling how many times
stolen from Africa.
The word Negro appear
brought to America
in the U.S. Constitution.
Buffalo Soldier.
That part.
It's just so much history to go over, and I think you have what was considered woke, and then that term was hijacked by the right and made into a joke like fake news. But the idea of being woke is true. It's to be aware of our American history, so then you can better understand why you even personally have stereotypes in your head of racism that you don't understand.
That part.
But it's things that
so
were beyond your control.
Yeah.
It was put into your brain before you even were born.
It's sense. Like, what are we, just so desensitized to it as a nation, certainly as a nation of leaders.
And it's still white, you know.
It's like, it's been working as good so far.
In control,
right?
You know, there is white privileges.
They don't want to do anything about it.
The richest Black person still has less rights when pulled over than the poorest white person. I'd still rather be the poorest white person and take a gamble.
Yeah, there were still clubs before Prince died that he couldn't enter.
That's why he made his own. So yeah, I think when people look at Dave Chappelle, I think they get way too lost.
It surprised me.
It's the simplicity of the message is Black people need something to change. And not just Maya Angelou on the quarter. That's lip service.
Yeah.
There needs to be real change. And
real
I think
change.
In a way, that's what Dave was saying, is he's so tired of the LGBT community. Not tired, but like he said, how he said, if Martin Luther King would have been in some booty shorts and whatever, maybe the movement, it's a joke, but that they organize better is what he was almost jealous of what the community has been able to achieve.
I think he had a lot to say in that special, and I think what he was trying to say was three things. I think he was trying to say Black people, Black people really still need equality, right? We stop killing us like it's a whole dire situation.
Right.
Secondly, I think he was saying that he was confused about the LGBT community. He's not close to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he was saying, I gained some clarity when I met this transgendered person, and here was my experience.
Right.
I think that's what he was trying to do.
And that's what I think was so brilliant about the special, is what he told. He's like, you guys are saying I'm transphobic, but I
right. He's like, I'm confused.
And it's not like saying, oh, I'm not racist, I have a Black friend. I think Dave truly is like a man of the people. He doesn't discriminate against someone because of anything other than if they're just an asshole.
Yeah,
so
he was being transparently honest. I think he was just, explaining what a lot of people probably also feel and can relate to.
Like we were saying, you have to ask the ignorant questions to then learn. I mean, like Dave did by befriending Daphne, the
transgender woman
mentioned in his special.
Yeah,
I'm sure learned a ton from that experience.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to portray. But it did sort of turn out
how he planned it. I mean, I'm sure it kind of. I'm guessing he probably calculated the level of reaction.
I would imagine.
He's so smart. I'm guessing that what your words, what the reaction's going to be, in a sense.
Well, Dave's a brilliant genius.
Yeah,
I think he's already proven that.
Yeah,
and who's to say whether he misstepped? I don't think he did, but
I don't at all.
I'm not. I'm not. I can't speak for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly can't speak for the LGBTQ community.
No, I can't.
But I think that he did what was necessary as a comedian throughout history. Our job is to challenge the status quo, make people think, talk about the hard decisions.
I mean, we're still talking about it here, and the special has been out for a while.
Yeah, I know. Well,
so, and I can't wait till I think everything he puts out now, he's gonna create a whole conversation.
How are we doing on time?
Time, we're good. We're 47 in. I mean,
is that right?
We're cooking with grease, Ma.
Wow, we've had some serious. We tried it. We had a fun conversation. It was a pretty serious conversation, actually, on the phone.
Serious. Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I guess this was bound to happen.
What I'd like to maybe we close with is what can men do to be better lovers, Sam?
Oh my goodness!
What can we do for
First
you,
of all,
Sam,
pay attention.
Okay.
First of all, you got to give a fuck
about a real big thing you told me, and I've definitely taken this. I've always tried this, but listening and being empathetic to what a woman is saying is, you were saying, that's all a woman wants.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, I think the main thing is,
and I know this sounds basic,
but it is very basic.
Of men, you mean if I'll listen to her?
Yeah, but it's harder than you think.
You have to really engage.
Right. So overall, I mean, this is sort of outside or inside the bedroom. Women want empathy. We want you to kind of, like, we're really good at empathizing, though. That's the thing. That's the catch, because neurologically, we're way better than you guys at doing that.
Exactly. And many other things.
And some other things, but there's a give and take. We're sort of like this, right?
Yeah. I can kill a saber-toothed tiger.
Right. I'm not going to try to do that. I'm running and screaming.
I would be too.
We'd be holding hands, skipping. Ah! So we want you to empathize. Like, we want you to, okay, what is empathy? So I can look at the baby and figure out that the baby's sleeping, maybe uncomfortable because their belly's out, and let me fix the baby. And so I kind of look, and I can do that very well. And naturally, as a woman, a man will be like, baby's sleeping. She's comfortable as hell.
Right. Right. Well,
or like,
I guess an example I was thinking of is somebody just graduated from program, and you're like, oh wow, that's very interesting. What is that? That must have been so hard for you. I can really imagine. You know, you went through school at night. That mean you have a child too. That must have been so
we
hard.
want
to make,
you to feel,
and you're like, oh wow,
what we
like,
feel.
It. Yeah, I mean, empathy, which you should be empathetic.
It's a magic trick, but women don't know that.
And I think that's kind of what I'm getting at is
it's a
people
magic
who
trick.
are empathetic, yes, then women are like, oh.
So you just have to pay attention.
Right, because men can use empathy against you. You realize like, oh, wow, like all this attention. Oh, you poor thing. Come here, sit down. Let me,
you just kind of have to figure out what her soft spots are, whether that means, she likes shoulder massage, or some women,
I love a shoulder massage.
Yeah. It's, some women like the kiss, the hug, the kiss, sneak up kiss. Maybe not when we're doing dishes. Hey, if you get that wrong, remember that next time. Pay attention. It's like looking at the weather when you go outside.
Taking the cues.
Look up, see what's happening up there. Is there gray clouds? You kind of have to look at her cues.
Yeah, I think men don't really.
And learn them. You can do it if you're playing poker. You can learn poker faces and stuff.
Okay. You
can do it with her too. You just have to try.
You just have to try.
Yeah. You just don't naturally do that. It's not something that sort of occurs to you.
I feel like I enjoy conversation, so I try to listen as well as I can.
I mean, and that's from
for men naturally.
Emotionally, we just kind of want you to, if we come home and we're huffing and puffing and talking about the chick at work who smelled like feet, we just want to vent. We don't need to, we just want you to be empathetic to, oh, she had a rough day. Oh, baby, come here. You want, maybe we should order out. You don't feel like cooking?
Right, of course.
Right. Now, in the bedroom, same thing. We want empathy. And that just means pay attention.
To the little things. I think that is.
To her breathing, to her movements.
Right.
Learn what she looks like right before she has an orgasm, so that when you get there, you know to stay doing whatever it is you're doing.
Yes. And I've noticed sometimes that can help, or that can hinder sex sometimes, is when you're, like you said, you're not paying attention,
just automatically
movement. So you're doing your own thing that feels good to you, but you're not recognizing, well, that doesn't feel good to the woman.
Never have I been actively trying to please someone and not paid attention to what their body is doing.
Exactly. But I think a lot of times,
what in the fuck am I there for?
A lot of men can do that.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Like we said, like the porno pounding, and that is, you're not reading where the woman's at.
That's okay sometimes. We know you guys said,
I mean, like we said, last 30 seconds porno pound time, or not 30 seconds. We'll
but
say
pay attention. Yeah, pay attention. Slow it down. You don't have to bang, bang, bang. You can't last that long. Just slow it down. Slow it down and pay attention to her. Sometimes it can just be the breathing.
It really is. I think that's the thing. We're so fast, and we want to fucking hot rod it. And you realize women, just like you said, the slower, the better almost.
Yeah. Slow it down. And then, and then you can play. It's kind of like adding salt to a dish.
I think we don't have patience. I think we just want to
too fast, too much salt will ruin the dish.
Because we can get off so quickly.
Do that again.
It's like we don't have patience.
The patience.
So especially if it's a relationship you've been in for a while, the foreplay, right? That's always a big talk in relationships about, foreplay. Yeah. And foreplay basically means
she needs to get wet. She needs time to get wet.
But foreplay, the reason it doesn't happen as much in a regular relationship, it's like, all right, we know what we're doing, let's just have sex,
I guess.
Whereas foreplay is like, you meet somebody, that's foreplay. Like, is this gonna happen? We have something's happening here. Oh my god, we're dancing. Oh my god, we're kissing. Oh my god, we're gonna go back to the place. I don't know how far we're gonna take it. So that's foreplay.
Maybe in a general
basis. We might just
kiss.
We might just rub. Yeah. Oh, she's taking her dress up. This is foreplay. That's all something that is building the woman up too. It's slow. Yeah. Whereas if it's a regular relationship, close off. Let's do what we do.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
I don't know about that. For maybe a lot of people.
The beginning and ending part of a one night stand is taken out compared to when you know.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
It's more routine sex when you're in a relationship for a while, because you're like, all right, flip over. We know what you like.
It doesn't have to be that way though. And it's not that way with some people.
And
yeah.
It's not always.
For me, foreplay is like, even for my partner, it's an important part. There's sort of this sort of tantric, like, teasing sort of ritual that I go through. Okay. And it's important for me. So I think it depends on the individual, but I certainly see where you're coming from. I think people get into a routine. More of the tantrics. Yeah. It is. You get into a routine where you get into you're not routine. Like, like, all right, what do we got? 15 minutes? That's different. But if you're laying down and you've got a couple hours, if you want to go for it, right. Maybe throw some candle wax on each other. Yeah, it's hard go when nuts. You have kids, because it's tough. Your schedule, it's not like you're just on vacation. You have to kind of fit it in when you can. No, I remember. I remember being married. That's why I'm just happy I'm swinging single. Oh, bless your heart. Well, Sam. Yeah, but hey, yeah, we wowie. Did we talk about lots of different things today? But I think we ended on again a pretty dirty note, as per usual. Which I like. I like to end on a dirty. Is it dirty enough? Is there dong? Is there some dirtier place to go? I mean, we hit pretty much with spitting on people. We talked about spit today. More spit today. We talked about transgender people and sex and porn and hobbies. Yes. I love miniatures and trains. My dream one day is to have a yard big enough where I can have one of those like Walt Disney little miniature ride-on trains that you can do. Just get some of that rich money. You're just trying to draw me in to say something inappropriate. I'm just trying to fit. Where do the transsexuals fit into the train set? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, go out and get some. I didn't come up with the joke. Some she-dick, everybody. Wow. There it is. I don't know. You're canceled. You did that. Hey, man, we're just having a conversation. I certainly hope nobody's offended. I certainly. You guys get the idea. Y'all know what it is. Hey, we love you. Thank you for joining us. Please join us again next week. Samson Crouppen, everyone. Hey, before we go off air, go ahead. Almost forgot that I wrote a whole book about sex, love, lust, and addiction and heartbreak and all that good stuff. And some not so depressing things. In fact, it's quite an hilarious book. It's called The Complete Player. You can get it on Amazon. It's a neurological description of the love game between the player and his mark. You can find the ebook or the paperback there. And also my co-host, who's not available tonight, wrote a book called The Art of Taking It Easy, Dr. Brian King. Second book, again, very funny, explains how important it is to relax. Samson, I know you just dropped a super awesome, funny special on your own platform. Yes, I did. Thank you very much. It's on, I'm trying to get us back. That's all right. They're just staring at our book covers. That's all right. Yeah, I did my stand-up special at slicecomedy.com. That's SLYCE comedy.com. And you can pick up that little blaze. And I just got it picked up to Comedy Dynamics. So I finalized that paperwork today, which was great. So that'll go out on all platforms on like congratulations Amazon. In order. And, wonderful. Sirius. Oh my gosh. That's huge. Cool. It's called Proof I Was Here. And some point you got to prove you were here. That's right. That's what it's all about. Well, we said that the thing about fame, I think that cooks so many people is its immortality, that you can die. Well, of course we'll die, but that you live on forever in your work. Yeah. In your work. Right. So I'm glad that I've, laid my stake. I'm glad that you laid your stake. I bought the special, and I encourage you all to do the same. Samson Crouppen, everyone. That's right. This has been another case of the King-Abrams Show. We out.